Howdy folks, welcome back to another Members First Deck Profile. This week I'm going to be bringing you guys Diaboromon. Sorry about last week. I hadn't had the chance to actually update and play my new list yet. I was still theory crafting what I wanted to do. And I finally set out on a list that feels pretty good so far. There's a couple of changes that I might make moving forward. We'll see after playtesting it a bit more. But so far this has been working, so I haven't touched it yet. Just before we jump into the meat and potatoes, I just want to say thank you to all of our members for supporting us handsome boys on the channel. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. And to anyone who sees this video when it goes public, thank you for checking it out. If you are new to the channel, consider sticking around, hitting the subscribe button. Check out our other Digimon related content that we have, or other content that we might be doing soon, possibly, maybe, we'll see. And maybe give the video a like if you enjoy this deck profile, or if you just want to support us. I know there's people out there that just like will jump into a video, they hit the like button and leave, and I get that. That's cool too. That's fine. But yeah, Diaboro. Diaboro's very cool. It's a very neat deck. It's very fun. I did finally just update my list. It got a lot of very powerful new tools in the most recent sets that we've been having. Because Diaboro, like, it came into the game in like BT-2. Didn't get any support until like BT-5, really. I think I got maybe a couple of cards here and there, but nothing crazy. And then after BT-5, it was just like dry spell. Like we didn't see anything, nothing that was worth noting, like nothing of value. And then finally come EX6 and BT-17, we finally started to get new Diaboro cards that were really powerful. But it just was like still kind of like 2 steps behind like the rest of the meta. It had a couple of good matchups, but not enough to like warrant it really like doing anything, right? And then finally with BT-22, we've gotten like proper protections for our stacks. We have like so many different searcher pieces that we can utilize. We got a brand new memory setter errata, which is really needed for the deck. Having to run other memory setters that were out of archetype was always really painful. It just didn't feel good at all. It felt like you made it do. It worked. It maybe felt like as good as it could, but it never felt great, right? I guess is the better way to put it. And I've loved Diaboro for a long time. I mean, if you've seen the deck profiles I do, I typically play a lot of black decks. It happens to be a lot of the Digimon that I enjoy. So this is where we are. So jumping into the list, we run 4 copies of the brand new BT-22 Sumimon. Really good for just the extra card draw when you spit out your tokens and everything. It's just really nice. Black, unfortunately, suffers from just not having any good generic eggs, really. They're all super specific or archetypal. And some are like, they provide enough value to work with certain decks, but like they typically just none of them are like super great. But this Sumimon has been amazing. It's been really good for anything CS or unidentified related. So I'm really enjoying using this card. I've been using it in Omni as well. I love it. It's a great card. Jumping into rookies, we're in 12 rookies total. 2 of the old BT-2 Caramon, just extra draw. Nothing to really linger on there, just extra. It helps to have it. It's not once per turn, so you just keep grabbing it as long as you keep playing out tokens. 2 of the BT-17 Caramon. This card's really good for just sort of like trapping your opponent. If they don't have instant removal when they go into the level 5 or level 6, which level 5s nowadays are starting to have some more removal back on them. There was a long spell there where I felt like they were basically just bridge pieces to help you hyper evo up into your level 6. And we still get pieces like that without a doubt, but we're definitely like getting a decent trickle now where they, I think they have a lot more control to them or a lot more value just as at the level 5. But if they go level 5 or higher, you can evo into an Inframon in the hand, ignoring cost and without paying, or ignoring requirements and without paying cost, which is really good. Which all of our Inframon just kind of give us some good plays. Specifically, the BT-17 one that he was paired with when he dropped to Digivolve 1 can just basically just set them back down a level. And then you play cost 8 or less can attack the players. I'll go over him in a minute, but he's just a good card, solid piece. So just really nice to just have that trap where basically if they don't answer this Caramon on evo, they might just get punished hard by it. Jumping from there. 4 copies of the brand new BT-22 Caramon. Just really good generic searcher. Specifically grabs an Errata Sonata, and then 1 card with the unidentified or CS trait among them. Bottom decks the rest. This also gives us the inherit. Gives us like our sort of like our Omni protection, as I've been calling them. Leave battle area protection, basically. So really good. It's nice to have it there finally. Diaboro desperately needed it. Obviously, Source Strip still hurts, but there's not too much of it going around right now outside of Diana and Hexablau. So just, and like, I guess Blue-Green Imperial, but I feel like Blue-Green Imperial is like not as popular as it once was, so we don't see it as often. But yeah, it's definitely just good to have the protection inherits to keep your stacks safe, because it's very much needed for this deck. It needed a way to kind of help stay on board beyond like just trying to like float into other bodies. Running out of rookies, 4 copies of EX6 Caramon. This is one that I actually might cut down on, because you technically cannot grab your BT-22 errata. You can only grab the BT-5 errata. So The on-play reveals 3. He adds a Tamer card or an option card with Diaboromon in text. He basically was supposed to work with Doomsday Clock, which is still a really cool strategy, but the game's just way too fast for Doomsday Clock to work. The closest I've gotten was getting 3 on board. And even then, like, that was like a game that went longer because my opponent bricked and I was trying to do the Doomsday Clock strategy. So like the card can still be good, like, to have as like a side option, but you don't have the space to really warrant running the full playset that you kind of need to do things with. So it's just hard. It's just kind of tough. But yeah, so that's it for that guy there. I would maybe drop this down to 3 just to like add in another like rare Diaboro, maybe if you wanted to make changes here. That's where I might initially start taking from, probably. But still a good card overall, and you still grab something with unidentified trait. Tosses the rest in trash, so sets up your BT5 errata off of the search, which is really good. And then on deletion just spits out, if you had unidentified trait, you can spit out a Diaboro token, which you will always have unidentified trait in this deck, which is jumping on from there to our level 4s, we're in 3 copies of the BT-22 Diaboromon. This one's actually still a really good card. It's kind of crazy how, like, they definitely didn't think about how crazy this card could be at the time, I don't think. But yeah, your turn when you play another Digimon with the same name as this Digimon, you gain a memory. So when you go into Diaboro and you start playing out tokens, you start gaining a lot of memory. You gain a lot of memory because it's not once per turn. So when you pair that with things like BT5 errata on board and stuff like that, like, you can just easily just make your evos very, very cheap or just gain back, sometimes plus on memory depending on how wide you're able to get your board going, which Diaboro has a lot of options to do now, so it's really cool to see. Jumping off from there, 2 copies of the old BT5 errata. This is mostly just for the Russian Herald to kind of come up occasionally. It's nice to be able to play out an errata, but you got the power crept version with 22. So the Russian Herald's just still really nice though for, like, sometimes you just need to be explosive and just take the game that turn, and playing out all those tokens with Rush can be really, really powerful. 3 copies of the BT-22 Cursari. Like I said, this just power creeps the other one, so if you have one of your Tamers, you may play one errata Sonata from your hand without paying the cost. So this just lets you basically play 2 Tamers off of these guys' effects instead of only being stuck to the one with the old one. And it gives you that same protection inherit that the Caramon from 22 gives as well. So it's just nice to have another source of it so you can mix and match your inherits from rookies and 4s. And then rounding out our 4s, 2 copies of the EX6 Diaboromon. This one's mostly for dealing with floodgates. It does have the cool thing where it can delete something with unidentified trait to reduce play cost by 3, so you can drop it for 2 instead of evoing for 2. But yeah, being able to pop something with play cost of 3 or less just helps us deal with floodgate rookies and stuff like that. That can be really annoying, specifically the things like Pomu and stuff that stop you from playing Digimon by effects, because that shuts off your tokens. So it's good to just have this guy to be able to clear those. And then on deletion, same inherit as the EX6 Caramon, where if you have an unidentified trait, you play Diaboro token without paying the cost. So really nice just to have that option there. That's it for the 4s. Jumping into 5s, we run 2 copies of the BT-17 Infamon. On Evo, DDG1, like I said before, and then stop something with a play cost of 8 or less from attacking players. So really, really solid card, just a good piece. It's the best one to probably go into off of your BT-17 Kara. And it has the all turns inherit of when you play another Digimon with the Diaboromon in its name, you DDG1 one of your opponent's Digimon, which works really well because we have means of playing out plenty of tokens and all turns as well, thanks to EX6, Diaboro. Diaboro Ace can trigger his effect as well. Like, you get a lot of really cool things you can do. So just solid piece, solid card. We like to see him, like to have him. We run 3 copies of the brand new Infamon, the BT-22 one. We're running more of this one than anything else because I think it's very, very valuable right now. So being able to delete something with play cost 5 or less is nice. It's cool. It's another way, like, means of getting rid of floodgates if your opponent has multiple of them, or you can potentially pop certain level 5 aces, stuff like that. But then if you have Errata Sonata or Eater Atom, which you're typically only going to have Errata, right, because you're not usually going to run Eater Atom in this deck, your opponent's effects can't reduce this Digimon's DP or bounce into hand or decks. I always forget about the bounce thing, by the way. That's something I need to work on, but just other players as well. I feel like you see the DP reduction protection, and you're like, oh, cool, sick, that's it. It's like that's good enough for you, because that's really all you really wanted out of Diaboro, because Diaboro's like biggest weakness for a while too was also like DP reduction, because DP reduction was just like running rampant, and I feel like now it's starting to kind of balance out a little bit. There's a lot of deletion effects actually happening now, more than I think anything else. But it's nice to have that DP reduction protection still against things like angels, for example, and then also be able to keep yourself safe from bouncing, which is just really, really powerful. So good card. And then it has the all turns inherit, where when any of your Digimon with the unidentified trait are deleted, anything with unidentified trait deleted, by the way. So even like your rookies, level 4s or level 5s, right? So if he's an inherit under a Diaboro and you have another stack going, it's not fully evolved, so they delete it. You can go ahead and play out another Diaboromon token, which is really, really good. So solid card there. And then just goes over you know, you don't have to worry about black text box stuff for him. It doesn't really matter. It's just for CS trade stuff. And then running at level 5s, because we run 7 total. We run 2 copies of the EX6 Inframon. On play on Evo, you can delete one of your Digimon with Diaboromon in its name, and then Evo into a Diaboromon in the hand without paying the cost. So typically, you're going to just pop a token to go into this guy. He's usually a good follow-up play after you've already established another Diaboro stack. If you're just trying to get a second one going, he's really, really good. But even if you don't utilize his effect to the fullest, the inherit to be able to de-digivolve something the same as BT-17s is really, really good. So just nice to have. It's good to have the option for extra de-digivolve in the stack with how freely we can play out tokens and stuff. It's just really powerful. And de-digi is really, really good right now. That's it for 5s. Jumping into 6s, we run 7 level 6s as well. We run 2 copies of the brand new BT-22 Diaboromon. This card's insane. It's actually a really, really good card. I was sleeping on this card. There's a reason why I want to cut down that EX6 Kara, because I want to have more of this guy in there. So he has Alliance inherently, which is really, really good. Goes over Inframon level 5 for cost of 3, which is nice. And then has the effect of on Evo and on attack, not once per turn. You may play one Diaboromon token without paying the cost, which is a, Digimon cost 14, level 6, white, mega, unknown, unidentified, 3000 DP. So really, really good there. And then all turns when any of your other Digimon with the unidentified trait are played, which counts the tokens, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. So being able just to like Evo into him, play out a token, pop something with the lowest play cost, swing, play out another token, Alliance off one of those tokens, and then do 2 checks at like 15k is pretty good. It's really, really solid. Diaboro having Alliance just makes sense. It's something that I feel like it always should have had with all this token play. Bandai tends to like to do that to give decks that use tokens Alliance. I'm sure at some point we're going to get a plant-like card that likes to use Alliance stuff, unless there is one and I'm just not remembering it, but I'm sure we'll see that eventually. But yeah, so it's just a really, really solid card. It's very good, just consistent removal. Its all turns effect, being able to pop something lowest play cost, is really big with all of our Inframon inherits. Specifically, this guy right here, this BT, or not all of our Inframon inherits, really. It really is just BT-22's in for inherit. That lets you, like, you can, like, if they pop one of your tokens or something like that, you can play out another token, and then all turns effect to pop that as well. It's just really strong. It's really, really good. He also pairs super well with EX6 Diaboro, who we'll go over next if you don't remember him. I won't linger too long on him because he was, he's like pseudo main boss monster, but the weird thing is that all of our Diaboros are so good. There's not like one main, like this is the one body I want to go into all the time. So start a main phase and on Evo, play a token without paying the cost. Really good. All turns when an opponent's Digimon is played, you may activate one of those Digimon's one Digivolving effects, so you're able to go ahead and just play out another token. Which works really well with your Inframon inherits for the de-digivolve. It also works super well when you have another BT-22 Diaboro on play, because then you'll be able to play out a token off of your opponent playing something, and then Diaboro will see that token get played, and all turns will pop lowest TP. So it works really, really well. It's almost like a weird sort of like harder to achieve medieval gallant sort of like setup board state in a way, where like if your opponent plays something, you're gonna pop it, which is nice. It's good to have that like kind of option for you to kind of play more defensively, especially if you control board really well. And then all turns, all of your other Digimon with Diaboromon in their names gain jamming and blocker. So keep in mind, he doesn't give jamming and blocker to himself. He only gives it to the tokens and any other Diaboro stacks you have going on. If you get 2 EX6 on there, then yeah, they'll give each other jamming and blocker. But yeah, the effect doesn't inherently give it to itself. So, which I don't really know why they decided to power creep that too much. I don't feel like that would have really made that much of a difference for Diaboro, realistically. Especially when you have things like Kaguya, who gives itself Alliance and blocker. But maybe I'm being a silly Billy, but yeah, so something to keep in mind with that effect there. And then rounding out our level 6s, we have 2 copies of Diaboro Ace. It's just good to always have the Ace on board, or Ace threat on board, I should say. So just like when you're threatening an Inframon, Diaboros can be really, really powerful. On Evo and on attack, not once per turn, same thing like the BT-22 Diaboro. Can play a token without paying the cost, which is really good. And then all turns, when an effect plays another Digimon, you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 3 or lower. For each of your Diaboromon, you add 2 to the maximum play cost of this effect. This inherently is always going to be at least 5, because he counts himself. So that's really, really nice. With 1 token, you're popping 7 play costs or less, which is majority of level 5s in the game at the moment. And then, if you have anything beyond that, then obviously you're just popping higher and higher. So just really, really good. Always good to have the Ace threat. The fact that it's like as an all turns effect is really, really nice as well. So like even if he's already on board, if something happens to play out another token while he's already on board and isn't removed, you're just able to, get his effect again. So it's really cool. It's just a really, really nice, just good, solid Ace card to have. Jumping on from Diaboros, or level 6s rather, to level 7s, we run 1 copy of each of the Armageddon. So the BT-17 Armageddon is still a really good card. When you would play this card from your hand, you can place up to 13 cards with the unidentified trait or Diaboromon in this text from your trash to the bottom of your deck to reduce the play cost by 1 for each card. So he's at cheapest a 3-drop, which is still really good. Has Rush, Blocker, and Reboot. On play and on Evo, you can delete any of your opponent's Digimon with a total play cost of up to 15. So you can... technically the actual text reads delete up to 15 play cost total worth of your opponent's Digimon. So you're able to just like potentially board wipe off this guy sometimes. You'll typically pop like a level 6 and like a level 3 usually, but it's, you know, nice to have the option if your opponent's just wide boarding with a lot of smaller stuff. And then your turn, this Digimon can attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. So he gives you a constant means of control if you're not able to just like directly remove unsuspended stacks. But having Rush, Blocker, Reboot just makes it so that you can kind of do your damage with him, chill, do whatever, yada yada, and then you'll still have that Reboot blocker set up for the next turn. So he's just a really powerful card in that sense. And also can save you from deck out, which is really nice, because sometimes Diaboro can deck itself out with how fast you can draw and go through things with how the game goes nowadays. And then the last Armageddon is the one from BT5, where you can reduce the play cost by 12 by deleting one of your Diaboromon, so you drop it for 3 as well. Has Rush inherently, and then all turns, when Digivolving effects, the level 7 Digimon don't activate. This card's actually sneakily good for dealing with a lot of level 7 aces that are in the game right now. Paladin mode being like the most prime example of probably a level 7 ace that we typically see. Just my GX as well is probably another good one too. So just really, really good to just kind of shut off those potential ace threats over your opponent's level 6 stacks. But otherwise, he doesn't like do too much outside of that. You can evo into him for 3, which is really, really nice, right? Like if you just like if you know you have game on board, you know your opponent has like a level 7 ace that's gonna mess you up. Potentially keep turn off of evoing into him and then just going for a game there. But yeah, just really nice card, very powerful. I wish that you know, he's an older card, so he doesn't. I wish they would have just made him a black card instead of a white card. But it is what it is. That's, you know. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. So that's it for the Digimon on the list. All pretty solid cards. Jumping into our Tamers, we run 4 copies of the BT5 Errata. I'm not going to linger too much on him. Just start a turn, you gain a memory if you have an identified trait in your trash, which, you know, it's not hard to achieve. And then on your turn, when you evo into a Diaboromon, you can spend the same to play tokens. So it just gives you extra tokens to play off. So something to keep in mind, too, with effect resolution in Digimon, because I feel like people forget this sometimes, and even myself, I forget it, too. When you Digivolve into a Digimon, both Errata's effect and the one Digivolving effect both activate at the same time, right? And any other pending effects that would activate when a Digimon, you know, Digivolves. But you can use the Errata to play out tokens first before you actually use Diaboromon's effect to play out a token and then activate its all turns effect when a token gets played, or etc. Right? You can do all that stuff first. And it's very, very important to keep it in mind, specifically for things like Diaboro Ace, who wants to have more Diaboromons on the board in order to pop a higher play cost total worth of Digimon. So just something to keep in mind there when you're like sort of like going through and playing with a deck or playing Diaboro in general, and just any other deck in general that does that stuff, where you have a tamer that sees like a one Digivolving effect. Sometimes it's always, sorry, not always. Sometimes it's better to use a tamer effect instead of the Digimon's effect first in order to help make the Digimon's effect stronger. So that's it for that. And then we're in 3 copies of the Memory Setter Errata. We don't need a full 4. Like the redirection can come up, but because we have blocker access off of Diaboro from EX6, it's not as important to have, but it's still good. And then, of course, you don't need like 4 memory setters of this guy. He doesn't have any other like pending effect that like does too much other crazy stuff for the deck. So 3's been fine. It's felt good enough, and I haven't felt the need to have more than that. I see him almost every game, so that's good. And then jumping into our options, 1 black scramble. Nothing too crazy. It's just nice to have like the option there to do things when you want to. Depending on like how stuff goes, it can definitely, sometimes I wish I had 2 in there, but it's just sort of hard to find the space because you need to run so many, like you want to be as consistent as possible in building your stacks, and because you don't have too much like search through your like evoing up through your line, you really need to make sure that you have as many possible cards to draw into that can actually help you build your line in the first place, right? Because you're not really getting going until you have Diaboromon. The rest of the deck like can do some middle game play, but not much. Scramble, you know, you need as many Digimon as you can, and Scramble's just a good card to have in there regardless. So the one of still comes up, right? Like if you see that security, you'll still have it at your hand. If you draw into it, that's good too. You know, I still see it plenty, even with just being in the one of. And the last card on the list here is for defense training, just for search and cost reduction evo. So really good. It's been playing really well so far. I've been enjoying it. you know, I think Diaboro is actually, it has the tools now that it needs to really kind of get things done in this meta. It can be surprisingly fast. It can be very aggressive. You have a lot of really good control options. You have very powerful control options in Digivolve and play cost based deletion. And then not to mention the fact that you can stall things out. You can punish your opponent for evoing up lines. Like, you have lots of like opponent's turn interaction as well, which is really, really important without having to rely on aces. So yeah, that's it. That's it for the list. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any improvements or any ideas or things that you prefer, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm always down to hear ideas. Yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you again to our members for keeping us boys train rolling, for supporting us. And then thank you to all of you for watching and having a good time. Or hopefully you had a good time. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I'll try and do better next time. But hopefully you had a good time. Yeah, it's gonna be it. Catch you on the next one. Bye.